Hello everyone, my name is Vidhanpandya. In this video, I'm going to talk about Padnadamsha Dasha or Padnavamsha Dasha. Both of these names refer to the same Dasha system. Padnadamsha Dasha or Padnavamsha Dasha, it is one and the same thing. This is given to us by Rishi Jaimini. This comes under Jaimini Astrology, as you may know. I came to know about this Dasha system in 2018 when I was working on this book predicting everything using a rare and an unknown dasha. I was working with Shri Ashutosh Bhardwaj ji on this book. I was editing this book, and then I learned about this dasha. It's a very interesting dasha, and that's where we started. So starting 2018, and this is already like 6 years now. This dasha has some unique methods of calculation. It uses seven charkarakas and it also uses Arudha with exception. So we are going to follow the calculation which is recommended by Shri Ashutosh Bhardwaj ji because he is the one who has written a book on it, and I believe it's the only book available on this topic in the market today. So I'm going to take example of Bill Clinton um, as we go into this dasha. So once you open the chart of Bill Clinton, then you can go under Dashas, and under Dashas you will find the Padnadamsha Dasha, Padnavamsha Dasha here. So this Dasha is based on, as I said, it's based on Gemini system of astrology. It uses Arudas and Aruda Padas on a very, very um, keenly, and it also uses seven charkaraks, right? So we are not going to use eight charkaraks, but we are going to use seven charkaraks. So here in this chart, we can see that moon is your Atma Karak, and then Dhara Karak is Jupiter. So AK is moon, and then followed by and other planets follow, and then the Dhara Karak is Jupiter. We will review some of the events. So first event that I have for you is he moved to Texas in 1972. So in 1972, he'll be running the Mahadasha of Cancer sign, right? Now, what you notice here is that the Cancer sign is here in the seventh house. Now, we need to also see what planets are aspecting the Cancer sign. So, since this is a since this is a cardinal or Char sign, all the planets from the fixed sign will aspect the sign except the one next to it. So here we what we see is um, no planets in Taurus. So no aspects from Taurus is coming, and then we have um, Mercury, which is in the Scorpio sign. It's a fixed sign, so Mercury is going to aspect Cancer sign, and then we also have Ketu uh, in the Aquarius sign, which will also aspect the Cancer sign. Here, what we know is that Mercury is also your Bhatri Karak, right? And the Bhatri Karak is to do with the travels. Bhatri Karak is to do with the change of place. So hence, there is a change in the place in the life of Bill Clinton. Another thing to know is that we are talking about the seventh house. Seventh house is also related to travel. And the lord of seventh house is Moon. Moon is also very, very much related to the traveling. And Moon is in the 12th house of travel. Moon is also in the 12th house of foreign, right? So again, we see multiple angles, and all of these are telling us that he is going to travel. Now, under this Cancer Dasha, let's also pay attention to the Antardasha. So he traveled somewhere in 72. The exact dates are not known. Again, 72 has three different time periods. So three different signs, dashas were, Antardasha was running. So Cancer Dasha is there. And then under Cancer, you have Leo. You have Sagittarius and Aries. So out of these three, um, Leo, Leo is again we don't know, and Sagittarius and Aries. So Aries is more potent because Aries has um, same aspects as Cancer sign. So Aries can be a potent period for him to travel. Again, dates are not known. So let's talk about the next event, next major event in his life. So he became the governor of Arkansas at a very young age. So he was the youngest governor of Arkansas, and he became the governor of Arkansas in the election happened on the 7th of November 1978. 1978 will be under Scorpio. And then he assumed the office on January 9th, 1979. So January 9th of 1979. So this will fall under Scorpio and Leo, right? Now let's analyze why Scorpio is important. So the sign Scorpio has Mercury placed into it. Mercury is the Bhatri Karak in his chart, right? We can see BK is Mercury, which means Mercury is related to your third house, third house significations, and also the significations of ninth house, right? So ninth house is the house of fortune, and Mercury is related to the fortune here. So for assuming any important post in government, there are three factors which play a very important role. One is the sun, second is 10th house and 10th lord, third is 5th house and 5th lord. Now let's again go back and look at the Scorpio sign. So we have Mercury. Mercury is getting an aspect from sun, and Mercury is also getting an aspect from Mars, right? Uh, Mars is your Matrikarak and Sun is your Ghatnikarak. But Sun's aspect on Mercury, which is related to the government, is favorable. And then Jupiter won't aspect Mercury because it is in the sign next to Scorpio. So these two planets will aspect the sign uh, Scorpio. Now Mercury is what about the 5th house and 5th lord? Now if you pay close attention to this chart, you notice that Mercury is also dispositor of Venus. Venus is in Gemini sign, hence Mercury becomes the dispositor of the Venus. Hence, it becomes a important planet. And Venus is also not just the 5th lord, but it is also the 10th lord. So again, as I said, Sun, 10th house, and 5th house, and their lords are important. So here we can see all this is playing its role. All these factors are helping him to become the youngest governor. And before I forget, there is one more thing I we should notice is that Sun is exalted in his Navamsha chart. So Sun is exalted and Mars is in its own sign. And since Mars is aspecting its own sign, it is also strengthening the sign and it is also strengthening the Mercury. And that's why it is giving him the success that he wants. And another thing to note here is that the Scorpio is the 11th sign in his Navamsha chart. So 11th sign or 11th house of achievements and fulfillment of desires is also there. So that will also play its role. That thus he became the youngest governor of Arkansas. So this is your first event. Second event, now let's go and soon after this, he lost his election. So he became the governor in 79, 78, 79. And then he lost the election in November of 1980, right? Now again, if you pay attention to the dashas, so again, Scorpio dasha is running here in this time also. So Scorpio made him the king. Now, what is making him lose? Now, then we have to kind of pay attention to what Antardasha is running. So here, the Antardasha of Aries is running, right? Because the election happened in November and sometimes the results came out in November, December time frame. So this is the time frame when he lost the election. Now, few things to keep in mind is first foremost, we know exalted sun is sitting, and Mars is sitting in its own house in the Aries sign, right? Now, so these two planets are sitting here in this Aries sign. Now we also have to see the aspects. So if you see the aspects, Rahu and Ketu are the only planets which are Rahu, Ketu, and then Mercury are the three planets which are aspecting the sign of Aries. Now keep in mind, so Rahu and Ketu aspect is going to be a challenging aspect, right? We know these are the planets of sudden events. These are the malefic planets. Traditionally, they are called as malefic planets. Ketu not so much in Gemini astrology, but Rahu is considered to be a malefic, and Rahu is in the eighth house. So it does contain the energies of eighth house, and it carries them, and then it gives those energies, and kind of uh, uh, provides its result in the to the sun and the Mars. Sun, as we know, is the karaka of government. So here, because of the aspect of Rahu and Ketu on Saturn, Sun and Mars, uh, I think this makes a very potent combination for him losing the power. Yes. So that was your event number three. Now let's go to your event number four. So soon after that, so he lost the election in 1980, and then he came back to the power as the second term as the governor uh, in 82 and 83. So 82 is when the election happened, and then his term started in January of 83, 1983. So let's go back and see the dashas and antardashas. So again Mahadasha does not change. Scorpio Mahadasha is running. So here, interesting thing is when the elections are going on, um, he is running dasha of Taurus. But when the results are coming out, the dasha changes, and then we have Gemini. So let's see why he will be successful in Taurus, because he has to gain confidence of the public so that he can get votes, right? So Taurus is the fifth sign here, right? And we again discussed that fifth house, fifth lord, 10th house, 10th lord, and the planet sun are important for acquiring any government position. So it is the fifth house that we are talking about. And then so fifth house becomes very important. And then the other thing to pay attention is that again Mercury is there, and then in terms of the aspects on the Taurus sign, we have aspect of Jupiter. So only Jupiter will aspect because Aries is the sign next to the Taurus sign, so the planet from Aries won't aspect the Taurus sign. So Jupiter is aspecting. Jupiter again, we know it's a great benefic, and it is also Dharakarak in his chart. So Jupiter aspect on Taurus sign is a very beneficial aspect, and that's why he was able to win the hearts of people, and he was able to get the votes that he needed to become the governor. And then when it comes to the period of Gemini, he actually took the position and he assumed the office of the governor. Now here we have Venus, and Venus we know it is the fifth lord and the 10th lord. So again, fifth lord, 10th lord, and the planet sun, those are the three main factors which we are considering for assuming the office, government office, and political success. So we can see uh, all this is working as expected. Now let's go to the next event in the life of Bill Clinton. And the event is related to his marriage. So he got married in the Dasha of, he got married on 11th of October 1975. So 11th of October 1975 will fall under Cancer Dasha. First and the foremost thing is Cancer Dasha. So Cancer is the seventh house in his Navamsha chart. Seventh house we know is the house of marriage and the partnership and the spouse and your business relations, right? So again, he getting married during Cancer Dasha is a no-brainer. Now, the then the other things to know about this Cancer sign is it is getting aspect from Mercury, and it is also getting aspect from Ketu, and there are no planets in Taurus sign, so there is only Mercury. Mercury we know has a dual role. It is also playing the role of Bhatrikarak as well as it is also playing the role of your ninth lord of fortune. So that's why we see that's why we see the marriage taking place because it is the seventh house, and then you have aspects of Mercury falling under it. Now, so this is at the Dasha level. So Cancer, why Cancer led to marriage? Now we also, since we know the date of marriage, so 11th October 1975. So 11th October 1975 will be under the Antardasha of 1975. Will be under the Antardasha of Gemini. So here, and you know what? Gemini has Venus, the Karaka, natural Karaka of marriage, right? So, and it is also the lord of seventh pada. So it is also the lord of A7. So Venus has a dual role. It is the Karaka and it is also the lord of seventh pada in the Navamsha chart. So that's why sign Gemini gave him the marriage along with the sign Cancer. Then we look at the next example, the next event in the life of Bill Clinton. It is the birth of a child. His only child, Chelsea, was born on February 27th of 1980. So we we look at the Mahadasha first. 27th of February 1980 will be the Scorpio sign, Mahadasha of Scorpio. So why Scorpio is giving childbirth? Now, so the Putra Karak here is Saturn, and the Pada Lord, the Pada of fifth house is in Cancer, and then you have Mercury sitting in the Scorpio. So as I kind of discussed earlier, also childbirth is something which is seen from the fifth house and the ninth house and the first house. Mercury is the Mercury is sitting in the sign Scorpio, right? Mercury has dual role, third house lord and also the ninth house lord. And Mercury here is also the lord of Virgo sign, right? Virgo sign is the ninth house in the Navamsha chart. So Mercury is very supportive for the birth of a child because Mercury is the ninth lord. It is also BK, which is also indicating fifth lord, third lord, and the ninth lord. And Mercury is actually the lord of the ninth house of his chart. So that's why Mercury and the Scorpio Dasha are very conducive for the birth of a child. Now let's look at the Antardasha also. So under the Dasha of Scorpio, and then we have the Dasha of Sagittarius. Yeah. under the Scorpio and the Sagittarius Dasha, the birth of the child took place. Now, Scorpio sign, if you pay attention, there is moon which is aspecting. Moon is sitting in the Sagittarius sign. Now, Saturn, which is the PK, the Putra Karaka, or the Karaka of children, is sitting in the Virgo sign. So Saturn is aspecting the Sagittarius sign, and so is the case with the Virgo. The Venus. Venus is also aspecting Moon, and then you have yeah. So these are the only aspects which are there on this sign, and there are no planets in Pisces. So Saturn is the Putra Karaka, which is very conducive for the birth of a child, and Venus is also here. Now, if you pay closer attention, you see that Moon, Venus, and Saturn are involved, and thus the childbirth took place and the birth of a female child took place, right? So it is not only telling us that there is a possibility of childbirth, but it is also telling us the possibility of a female child. Moving on. So the next event I have here is he becoming the US president. So Mr. Bill Clinton became the president in 1993. So he assumed the office on January 20th, 1993. Let's see what dashas are running. So he's running Dasha Mahadasha of Leo. And under so first let's analyze the event from the Mahadasha of Leo. So Leo, if you see, Leo is the natural fifth house of the power. Leo is also the sign ruled by Sun. So Sun, the role of Sun is coming prominently, and we know it's a sign of it's a fiery sign, right? It's the house of seat of power as they call it. Now let's and Rahu is sitting. So Rahu is a political planet. Rahu is always interested in politics, and Rahu knows how to play politics. Now let's see the aspects. So in terms of the aspects, you have aspects of Sun. Aspect of Sun on Leo is coming, which is making Leo very strong. And then aspect of Mars is coming. Again, a friendly planet. Again, a very fiery planet. Again, it is um, strengthening the Leo sign. And then the third planet which is aspecting the Leo sign is Jupiter. So all the three planets are very friendly to the sign Leo, and uh, they are making this sign stronger, right? And this is the sign of power. It is a sign of politics. It is a sign of position, right? So he is getting um, the presidentship it's quite evident, right? So it's very easy to see that why he became the president during the Dasha of Leo. Now, let's also pay attention to the Antardasha, right? So Leo Dasha is running, and then under Leo Dasha, the Sagittarius Dasha is the time when he becomes the prime minister. So again, remember the date, 20th of January 1993. So Sagittarius period is running. So Leo and Sagittarius both are fiery signs. They are the signs in which major upheavals in the life will happen, right? Um, and Sagittarius, as we know, it's a very fiery sign, and especially a lot of events will happen in the sign Sagittarius. Now, let's see what planets are sitting in the sign Sagittarius. So, Sagittarius, we have Moon. Moon is the Atma Karak. Atma Karak is to do with oneself, one's identity, one's physical self, right? And now, let's see the aspects on the Sagittarius sign. So, Sagittarius sign, we have aspects from Venus, and Venus is playing the role of Amatya Karak. Amatya Karak has a dual role. It acts as a second lord as well as the 10th lord. So Venus has a very important role to play. Now this Venus, again, as we spoke earlier, it is also the lord of second house, the fifth house, and it is also the lord of 10th house. Venus is very important for him to gain the power. So the sign Sagittarius is getting aspected from Venus, and Venus is, as I said, it is Amartya Karak as well as fifth lord and the 10th lord. So Venus aspect on Sagittarius is a very welcoming aspect. Um, and then the next planet which is aspecting uh, Sagittarius sign is your planet Saturn. Saturn is your Putra Karak. Now, Putra Karak is a very beneficial planet, as we know in Jaimini astrology. So Putra Karak is a very important planet. Putra Karak acts as a fifth lord in the house in one's chart. So again, Putra Karak is helping his fortune, right? And he needs the luck, he needs the benevolence, he needs the support from everybody, and thus he became the Prime Minister, President of United States during the Dasha of Venus and Sagittarius. Let me talk about the last event which I'm going to cover in this video, and this is the event which is related to the scandal, and then subsequently he resigned from the position of the president of the United States. So that event took place in Dasha of Mahadasha of Leo, and under Mahadasha of Leo, it was the Aquarius Dasha which was running. The event became the headline in newspaper in 19 January of 1998. Right. So let's first analyze it from the Mahadasha sign, which is Leo. Why Leo lead to his downfall? Now we saw this Leo sign is a very important sign for him because when he became the governor of Arkansas for the first time, it was the Antardasha of Leo. When he becomes the president of United States, that was also the Mahadasha of Leo. Now, under the same Mahadasha, now again in the Mahadasha of Leo, he is having to face some challenges, right? Now, Leo has Rahu in it, right? So Rahu is the planet of deception. Rahu can give you challenges, and Leo is also the eighth sign in his Navamsha chart. Now, eighth house is the house of his scandals, and no wonder why the scandals broke out, because all this is bound to happen. Since Rahu is also there, so Rahu is like a double whammy. So eighth house and Rahu, so some event, some scandal has to happen, is clearly seen with the Dasha of Leo. Now, under Dasha of Leo, it was the Antardasha of Aquarius. January 1998 is going to be here in this Aquarius period. Now, let's see what planets are sitting. So, first of all, we see Ketu is sitting. Ketu and Rahu are opposite to each other. Their nature are very different. If one is positive, other is negative. So, Ketu is going to upset whatever Rahu has given, or otherwise. So Rahu and Ketu both are challenging. If Dasha is running uh, of the signs which has Rahu and Ketu, that those times are generally very challenging. Now, the way to analyze Dasha of signs of Rahu and Ketu is their dispositor. We need to see what is the relationship between the dispositor of Rahu and Ketu to be able to understand how the Dasha of Rahu and Ketu, or the signs occupied by Rahu and Ketu, will be. So here, Sun is the dispositor of Rahu, and Saturn is the dispositor of Ketu. They are 6-8 from each other, which means the Dasha of Rahu and Ketu will be very challenging. And as I said, eighth house is involved, Rahu is involved, their dispositor are 6-8 from each other, which lead to the scandal, coming out in public, and then because of the scandal, he has to resign. Right. So here, what we have seen so far is we have seen 8 events in the life of Bill Clinton with the help of Padnadamsha Dasha, or Padnavamsha Dasha as we call it. And we can see all kind of events can be seen, like he changing the place, moving to Texas, he getting married, he getting childbirth, he becoming the president, and he getting into a scandal. So all these events are seen from this Padnadamsha Dasha. Um, so likewise, you can predict all sort of events using this Dasha. It's a general purpose Dasha which can be used for predicting all kind of events. And there are also this Bhog sign and Drishya sign and Dur sign which are involved. Again, I'm not going into too much of details of these signs as well as Dasha Chakra also. So again, if you use all these tools, this Dasha will help you predict all kind of events with far greater accuracy. That's all I have for this video. Thanks for watching, and as always, if you have any questions, put them in the comment section. Thanks. Bye.